What up? What up? What up, Panther Nation, Rockstar Gang? What is going on? You damn hooligans. You damn hooligans. TGIF brosives. TGIF. Welcome to the Rockstar Report. As you can see, I'm wearing my Whalers jersey. Whalers. Sebastian Aho. I had to rock this after all the moves that the Hurricanes have made. Oh my lord. A veteran center, a solid left wing. Can't be too mad about that, right? Can't be too mad about that. Now, can we? So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button as you're coming in. Clay CMC Ropp. Oh man, y'all. Hey, I heard they were looking for a fullback. I thought I could see if it would work. See if I could throw my hat out there. And I didn't get a response, so they must not be interested. They must not be interested. Oh man! All right, let's get into a couple things today. I want to talk about first thing I want to talk about is let's get into the NFL news and updates. Let's see here, because I want to go over some news with the NFL that's going on. So let me pull this up. Dear God. All right, just making sure I'm not missing anything. All right. Let's see here. All right, first things first, we've got any team that pursues Chris Jones in free agency will potentially both help itself and hurt the Chiefs. That is the headline on this one. So I don't know if there's any news upon him, really. I don't know what's going to happen with Chris Jones. I think he's just going to end up back in I think he's just going to end up back in the at the Chiefs. Let's see. Rumor has it that the Browns have been shopping two talented players. They're willing to, I don't know if this is true or not, but they will provide the Browns some cap relief and additional draft. Looking to shop guard Wyatt Teller and corner Greg Newsome. Facts JP. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about the ISM here shortly. Yeah, the SB proved that the Kansas City got to re-sign Chris Jones. Absolutely. I mean, I don't see a world where I really don't see a world where Chris Jones is not on the I just don't see a world where Chris Jones is not on the Kansas City. I just don't see it. L'Jarius Sneed also there, the Chiefs. The Lions, Falcons, Jaguars have spoken with the Chiefs about L'Jarius Sneed. It will reportedly cost a second-round pick to trade for Sneed. So there's that. The Dolphins, they signed their punter. They re-signed, I should say, Jake Bailey to a 2-year extension. They also signed defensive back Elijah Campbell. They re-signed him and it was officially announced by the team. So they re-signed a DB. The Broncos, they agreed to a 1-year deal with Tim Patrick. Let's see what else is going on. As of right now, Mitch Morse is visiting the Steelers, as well as Russell Wilson, if you didn't know. We'll talk more about J.J. Jansen. The Steelers also did release they released Patrick Peterson, and then Russell Wilson was visiting the Steelers, but also apparently Russell Wilson was visiting the New York Giants. So that was pretty interesting. Hunter Henry re-signed and has agreed to terms to a 3-year deal to remain with the Patriots. And then we're definitely gonna get into this article here by The Athletic, Joe Parsons, and all that. The Chiefs have signed Drew Tranquil to a 3-year extension there in Kansas City. Now, rumor has it the Houston Texans have huge interest in the Baltimore Ravens linebacker Patrick Queen. And then also the Panthers. We're going to talk about this ISM situation. We'll see how that turns out. I think this was so. Jonathan Jones came out with this tweet here. It said, I don't know why it's doing that. Let me go back to that. Jonathan Jones came out with this interesting tweet here saying that to watch tight ends more quickly in the pre-free agency, Dalton Schultz, Johnny Smith, Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry all inked their way. I expect the Carolina Panthers to do the same. Okay, I expect them to do the exact same thing. Russ on the decline. Hey, JP, I don't disagree with you in the aspect of things that he's on the decline. What I do know is that teams are, who need quarterback. I think Russell Wilson, I mean, you could name how many quarterbacks that are better than Russell Wilson. I would probably say at least maybe 10 to at least 15, maybe at the hot most. But after that, I mean, he had a good year last year. Go check his stats. He only threw like 8 picks last year, threw for over 3,000 yards. How's it going, Panther Ready X? Appreciate you joining the live stream. Is that a Canes jersey you got there, Clay? Yeah, I got my Aho Whalers jersey, bro. I got the Whalers. I have a Canes Aho one, but I wanted the Whalers. I thought Schultz was re-signing in Houston. He did. He already signed in Houston. The Chicago Bears are expected to have interest in Las Vegas Raiders. Josh Jacobs. Aaron Rodgers says he might play up to 4 more years. The Raiders are another team that is possibly to set up a meeting with Russell Wilson. There are also rumors that the New England Patriots are expected to trade out a 3rd overall pick if Jane Daniels is not there. I mean, I'll be surprised, honestly. I really think the Bears are going to swindle somebody with that 1st overall pick. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I think that someone's going to swindle them for sure. I think the Bears are going to swindle somebody. And I do think that, Jaden Daniels will be available anyways. We're going to talk more about the Brian Burns situation. We'll talk more about the ISM situation and stuff like that. Let's get into some NFL. Let's get into some draft here. Let's get into some hypotheticals with these guys here. Now, the Carolina Panthers, here's some prospects that I think that they'll target because of I'm going to give you a rundown of who they met with in the meetings, okay? Because there were several prospects that they met with during the combine and basically, what they could find out from these guys and who they met with. Obviously, we're heading into the draft, right, without a 1st round pick, which is obviously a bummer. I know. They still have plenty of needs on both sides of the ball. While the first act could change via trade, the Panthers can basically go best player available on the board for that day 2 and day 3 picks. So there's always a possibility that they could orchestrate a trade down to accumulate more picks as well. So I kept tabs on the meetings that they had at the NFL Combine, and they had some these visits between they can have some subsequent visits between now and the draft so that can give us some perspective on who they may target. Now, however, there is plenty of times where they've drafted players and they've never reportedly met with or contacted. So, but nonetheless, I'm going to go by position and take a look at who they visited. So, I mean, I know who they visited. I have my list, but we're going to use the NFL Draft Buzz website to go through them. So, the first person that I want to talk about here, we're going to go by position. So, we're going to go with the wide receiver position because we all know that's who it's one of the biggest needs, right? Because in case y'all didn't know, I do need to show you this real quick before I continue this. I do need to show you this clip. Okay. This clip I found on TikTok last night about the top 10 worst wide receivers last year that could not get open. That is what this video is about. All right. We'll talk more about ISM. Clay, you're right. Russ numbers weren't bad. You can see his athleticism leaving, though. Balls don't have the same zip either. We saw Breeze decline 3 years prior to his retirement, too. Yeah. And that's fair. That's absolutely fair. You have every right to say that. So watch this clip, because this just proves how important the wide receiver position is now. And this also proves my statement of last year that it wasn't just me seeing that our wide receivers couldn't get open. Now, these guys, I've followed these guys. I know these guys. They know their ball. They have a good show, and it's like 4 or 5 of them. And the top 10 worst wide receivers in getting open, and 2 of them are on the Panthers.
These were the top 10 worst receivers of getting open in 2023.
I know what's going on. Give me a second. Okay, so that should work.
One was...
Oh, you fucking piece of shit. Sorry, excuse my language. Sorry for cussing. There we go. Now get off here.
These were the top 10 worst receivers of getting open in 2023. Number 1 was Devontae Parker.
Oh, yeah, I was not getting that.
Number 2, Panthers rookie Jonathan Mingo.
That sounds right. I knew 1 or 2.
Jonathan Mingo was the number 2 worst wide receiver. Now, granted, he is a rookie. So there's time for him to obviously work on that, but top 10 worst wide receivers that couldn't get open. So
Panthers receivers is going to be in here.
Number 3, Cedric Tillman with the Browns. Number 4, Van Jefferson with the Falcons.
And Rams.
Tied with 4th, Quentin Johnson with the Chargers. Not a great sign if you're a Chargers fan.
I hate to see it.
Number 6 here, tied at 6, is a tight end, Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, he's really fallen off the map, but I think part of it would have to be coaching.
Tied 6 with him is Juju. So the Patriots have 3 wide receivers in the top 10 that are the worst at getting open. I should say 3 receivers, 3 pass catchers. Tied 6 with them is Michael Gallup with the Cowboys. Number 9, Allen Lazard with the Jets.
Yeah, no, he's one of the worst wide receivers in the NFL. It's remarkable he got the contract he did.
Number 10, DJ Chark.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking.
So there are 2 teams that have more than 2 pass catchers on this list. The Patriots with Devontae Parker, Juju, Mike Gesicki, and then the Panthers with Jonathan Mingo and DJ Chark.
I mean, so that narrative out there, because I want to know, what I really want to know is where they found those stats from, which I might go back and message him and say, where'd you find those stats from? Or how'd you find that out? Because obviously I've been trying to figure that out. Who had the worst separation in the league, right? We've been trying to figure that out. And 2 out of 2 wide receivers, Jonathan Mingo, DJ Chark last year, were top 10 and the worst wide receivers that of creating separation. Jonathan Mingo and DJ Chark. Mingo was number 2 in the league. DJ Chark was number 10. So all this narrative too now, because now this kind of makes me think that between the offensive line struggles and watching that clip and finding out that Jonathan Mingo and DJ Chark were in the top 10 of worst wide receivers of creating separation and getting open, I think that maybe we might want to pump the brakes on calling Bryce out. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I just wanted to make this clear because I'm glad I found this clip. I'm probably going to message him. You know, I'm probably going to message him and find out where they got those stats from because, I mean, you know, so, you know, maybe we want to pump the brakes just a little bit on Bryce Young. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, we had one of the worst offensive lines, and then we just from that video clip, we had 2 wide receivers that started that were in the top 10 worst wide receivers of able to get open, or I should say unable to get open, create separation, whatever you want to call it. Just from that clip. That's crazy. It's crazy to me how people can listen. I'm still 50-50 on the kid because I think that, again, there is preparation and part of him that needs to obviously get better. But at the same time, when your offensive line last year allowed 62 sacks and then finding out that 2 of your wide receivers were in the top 10 of worst wide receivers that couldn't get open, can't create separation. Like, you know, stats don't lie, facts don't lie. So before people hop all over this train a little bit, I'm just saying we might want to think before we speak sometimes, you know. I want to know too. The NFL Gen Stat says that all the Panthers wide receivers were 2.4 yards or better in wide receiver separation this past year. Yeah, I'm curious where they found that at. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and message him or send a comment over to them because I want to know too. I want to know where they found that as well. Let's see here.
These were the top 10 worst receivers of getting open.
Worst receivers of getting open. I just sent him a message saying, can you send me where you found those stats or facts? I would love to see it. So I just messaged him now because that's what I've been trying to figure out too, because if I can figure out if we had if that is true based off of what those guys said, and those guys are pretty good at what they are, pretty reliable sources. They know what they're talking about. I've watched their show a couple times. I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't watch ESPN anymore. I don't watch I don't watch, you know, the mainstream media. All right. I watch YouTubers because, you know, we try to make it as factual as possible instead of other people choosing to pull different narratives. That's what's up, Clay. I'm curious also. Yeah, I mean, I want to know because I had a feeling that the Carolina Panthers had to have one of the worst wide receiver groups of creating separation besides maybe Adam Thielen. And the only reason why maybe they might not is because of Adam Thielen this past year. But for them to say Mingo and DJ Chark are in the top 10 of worst wide receivers of creating separation, I mean, I believe them. I believe them. I don't think these guys are bullshit. All right, let's get back to it. So let's get back to who they hosted meetings with at the combine, because these are guys that maybe they could be targeting. Okay. The Panthers could be targeting, and we're going to go by position group, like I said, and the wide receiver position. And let's start off with Xavier Worthy. They had him. Apparently they have, They met with Xavier Worthy, and we know the Panthers are almost certainly going to draft a wide receiver in this draft. The only question is where, because based on reports, meetings so far they've had, or that they did have, they're looking far and wide across this board. And you've got, Xavier Worthy was one that they met with. If we go back, they also met with Keon Coleman out of Florida State. They also met with, let's see who else they met with. They met with Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. They also met with, am I pronouncing his name right? Ananias Smith? Anina Smith? I don't know. I know a good amount about him, but don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. They also met with Brian Thomas out of LSU. And of course, last but not least, Josh's guy who's always in the chat. Josh's guy, where is he at? Malik Washington. So so this is supposed to be one of the best classes, I would say, probably a very long time from a wide receiver perspective. This has to be one of the best wide receiver classes I've ever seen, and maybe I've ever seen in my lifetime and been a part of. But there's definitely plenty of options wherever they look. I'm high on most of the guys they met with. Of course, I'm high on Xavier Legette because that's my boy. Malik Washington, I like. I also am a big fan of Ananias Smith, Jeremiah Thrasher. My favorite wide receiver, though, in this class is just that, and it's not. A lot of people compare him to Keenan Allen. I see more of a Mike Evans-esque guy, but my favorite wide receiver in this draft is Rome Odunze. I love Rome Odunze. I watched his game film and I broke him, I took a lot of notes on him, and I just love everything about this kid. I think he's more like a Mike Evans-esque kind of guy. That's my comparison to him. I know a lot of people compare him to Keenan Allen, which I've seen, but I feel like he's more of a Mike Evans-esque kind of guy. So, but that is my favorite wide receiver in this class. Rome Odunze. I really like him a lot. Of course, everybody's going to love Marvin Harrison Jr., though. Everybody's going to love that guy. All right. So another position group they met with at the combine. Similar to the wide receivers. Let's see. Of course, the offensive line. It's very similar to the wide receiver need, right? Because we need talent in basically every position along the offensive line besides, right, I would say right tackle and left tackle. I mean, you could make a case for left tackle depending on depending on what Icky does going in coming into his third year. So we're definitely got some competition to bringing in some of these guys. I can tell you right now, basically, I would say Joe Alt, Fashanu, Latham, Fuage, Mims, Jackson Powers, Johnson, those guys, maybe even Graham Barton, those guys will not be in the second round. I think Troy will be. I think Tyler Guyton will be. I think Jordan Morgan will be. I think Kingsley will be. And, of course, we've seen Zach Frazier multiple times there. But they did meet with they met with DeMar Glaze, which is the guy out of Maryland. Let's see, but I got to keep going through here to find him. If I'm not mistaken, he is out of Maryland. DeMar Glaze, the center. But his sub position that is left tackle and right tackle. I've seen some people list him as a right. I've even seen people list him as a right guard. So it sounds like he can play. I mean, from my scouting report, he can play multiple positions. They also met with Blake. I gotta find him. They met with Blake. His name's Blake Larson, the offensive tackle. Let's see if I can find him. No. I don't think he's in the top 10. Nah, he's got to be on this page now. Blake Larson. I think he's out of Augustaton. I don't even know what kind of college that is. Augustaton. I'm trying to find him. He must not be that good if they're, especially for NFL draft buzz. All right, well, we're gonna skip his ass. They also met with Patrick Paul out of Houston, the big 6'7" left tackle, 6'8", excuse me, 331 pounds. And then they also met with Christian Haynes, the right guard out of UConn. So now NFL Draft Buzz curiously has Glaze projected as a center as well, but though they did mention that he has the skill set to line up anywhere, like I said. So other offenses they could use talent at, though, for the Panthers is definitely every position aside from quarterback. Maybe some people would disagree with me on that, but some are poking around the quarterback, especially tight end, makes sense as well. That list includes they met with a tight end, Jared Wiley out of TCU. Pretty sure, Jared Wiley out of TCU, and then they met with they actually met with the running back. Where's he at? Jonathan Brooks. They met with Jonathan Brooks as well. So, they had some good. Offensively they met with some pretty good dudes. I thought I like some of these guys. Besides that Alex guy from Augustaton, I have never even heard of that college. Never even heard of it. There's also a situation we could take Peyton Wilson at this pick. Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a situation about that. I don't care when we get them, but we definitely need a center, wide receiver, and corner. Yep, you could make the case for that. Zach Center fell because of his injury this past year. He was an All-American before that, though. Yeah, I like Zach Center. The injury is a concern, though. The injury is a concern, JP. We don't need the Austin Corbett thing isn't really helping us out. And I don't know if I want to go through another Austin Corbett with Zach Center. You know what I mean? Did we meet with Barton? No, we did not meet with Barton, at least from my understanding. Now, again, they could have, but from what I know of, the guys that I am listing off and showing you, they actually have had meetings with. Yeah, Haynes is graded pretty high at the right guard position. I would love to get him. Okay, from the front seven side of things, the Panthers are losing a bunch of depth there at edge. Okay, they can definitely use some reinforcements on the interior in their 3-4 defense. That list includes defense. Let's go defensive line. They met with Andre Carter out of Indiana. Let me see if I can find where he's at on here. Andre Carter. Where you at? Boy out of Indiana. Jeez. They don't like you. They must not like you on Andre Carter. They must not like you on the NFL Buzz. Because I do not see you, my friend. I do not see you. I do not see you on here. Wow. Must not be very good because I did not see Andre Carter out of Indiana. They did meet with let's go with defensive tackles only. Maybe that'll change it up. Okay, let's go defensive ends only. I don't want to go defensive ends. I want to go defensive tackles only. Okay, you're a piece of shit. Do you not like? Okay, let's just go all D line. Fuck it. So they met with Jared Crumley out of Mississippi State. Where are you at, Crumley? I just saw you. Watch. I'm not going to be able to find his ass either. There he is. Jaden Crumley. I'm sorry. Jaden Crumley. They met with him. They also met with, of course, everybody that I know after watching his combine loved him. But they met with this man right here as well. Let's see. Maybe they got him in the top. Do they got him in the top 10 now? They do. Braden Fisk. Of course, they met with him. They also met with the edge rusher. Let's see if I can find him. Oh my God. I mean, I don't understand. What the fuck is wrong with this shit? No, edge rushers. Thank you. Edge rusher, where's he at? Xavier Thomas out of Clemson. I want to find him, though. There he is. Look at that bow tie. My man. Rocking the bow tie. Florence. I didn't know he was from Florence. Right outside of Myrtle Beach. Only like an hour and a half from where I live. All right. And then Braylon Trice. Okay. Braylon Trice out of Washington. They met with him as well. There he is. Braylon Trice. So definitely met with him. I think the Panthers also will likely, if we go into the secondary, they'll definitely need to look in depth there on potential stars across their secondary. They especially if they are, because especially with the fact they already parted ways with Dante Jackson. So, which obviously they met with Nate Wiggins, which they've got him listed as number 2, who had the fastest 40 time as a corner there. And then they met with, I wonder if I can go, I guess I'll have to do it this way. They met with this guy. They met with this safety out of Air Force, which I don't understand why they met with a safety out of Air Force. Makes no fucking sense to me. Honestly, I don't really care. But they met with this guy out of Air Force, Trey Taylor. I don't know why they met with him. We don't need any safety help. But for me, it's great to see that they did their due diligence in the scouting potential prospects for this upcoming draft. Obviously, we're not sure who they will end up picking, right? But it's always fun to speculate and see who they're considering. So maybe we'll have some more updates as time goes on with that for sure. Again, another thing I want to go over though is that this with the wide receivers though, because I know that they plan to boost this wide receiver core, especially with this upcoming draft. Because we obviously need to after that video I just shared with you with Carolina having 2 of their wide receivers last year, and especially their rookie wide receiver ranked in the top 10 of worst wide receivers being able to create separation. So again, it's that time of year again. And of course, we're gearing up for this draft. And as we all know, this offense struggled on the outside for some time now. And the 2024 draft is chock full of talent and wideouts. Okay. So that we're still in prime position, even at the 33 pick, to snag one of these guys. And I know even without a first round pick, but we still can get a top receiver even at the 33 pick. Because this is a strong class of receivers. In the second and in the third rounds, you can still get some dogs. And the Panthers will have their pick of the litter for sure, whether it's just one or if it's two. Obviously, it's finding that perfect complement to your young quarterback. Now, you got from big body, slow receivers to thin frame burners who can sneak in the slot, who are sneaky in the slot, right? Then there's that wide range of talent available in this class. I mean, with so many talented receivers available, I think team preferences will likely play a crucial role in determining who goes where. With so much depth at the position, I don't think the team needs to reach for a receiver at the 33rd overall pick. Instead, they can find, I feel like they can wait and see which players fall to them. All right. Even trade down to acquire more assets and still pick up a day one contributor on the outside. Whether they decide to address other needs at the top of the second round, maybe they go with a Zach Frazier, or wait until the third round pick. I mean, there's no doubt that the Panthers will come away from this draft with a talented and impactful wide receiver. I truly believe that. But so for example, all right, I think that in the second round, if we're talking about second round picks, we're talking about the 33rd pick for the Panthers. I'm going to tell you the prospects that I realistically, did we meet with Chop or Jared Verse? No, sources have told me no. Sources have told me not no, but I don't know. So I don't have any sources upon that. I know. I know. Panther Raider X. I got to be fucking better at using my language. I know. It's so bad. What the hell? Anyways, I'm good on Trice. He did nothing versus Michigan O-line. I mean, that O-line was solid, though, man. You got to give him credit where credit's due. Okay, top prospects, though, for that 33rd pick. Let's get into it. Who might those players be? Okay, so let me introduce you to a few guys. Okay, let me introduce you to a few guys. All right, we're going to start off with the wide receiver position. And I'm high on this man, too. I'm high on Keon Coleman, man. The receiver out of Florida State, he's 6'3". He was listed at 6'4" before the combine, but 6'3". They changed that up once he got to the combine, but he's actually 216 pounds. That 213 is actually incorrect, but 3 pounds is 3 pounds, whatever you want to call it. I think he has the potential to become a reliable target for Bryce Young. And don't let that 40 time at the combine fool you. He looked fast and smooth on those on-field drills, which is what really matters, because he got up to like 21, 22 miles per hour on the drills, where they're running across the field and catch the balls. I can't remember the name of that drill. I think it's called the G drill or something like that. Anyways, but he got up to, I think he runs, even though he ran like a 4.61 in the 40, he technically runs, from my understanding, someone told me from Florida State, runs like a 4.5 flat. So, but he's picked up 22 miles per hour in that drill. So I'm not surprised. Obviously, Xavier Worthy is an intriguing prospect now after that NFL combine, running that 4.21. Obviously he blew everyone away with setting the record there. But there are some concerns about his ability to be physical with corners, and especially in press coverage. So that's my only concern with him. But consistently, he makes catches over the middle. Still, with his speed, there's a good chance he could become a star in this league. So I like Xavier Worthy in the wide receiver position. Now, let's get into the offensive line position. And of course, I'm going to go straight, if they will let me do it, I'm going to go straight to the center position. And we're going to go to my boy, Zach Frazier. Now, I know I want my personal player I really want is Jackson Powers Johnson. But if we're not in the first round and we can't get him, then I'm going with Zach Frazier out of West Virginia, because Frazier is a tough dude. He's a tough cookie, man. He breaking his leg in the final game of the season, but still managed to run through some on-field drills at the combine. Are you kidding me? And he's got the potential to be a 10-year starter. He fits the bill for exactly what the Panthers are looking for in that zone scheme. So I like him at 33. Of course, I got to go back and stay in the realm of the offensive line. And I'm going to go to, give me a second. Hopefully it will let me do this. Guess I got to do it this way. That's fine. Christian Haynes, of course, his number is one of the top guys on my list as well. The guard out of UConn, which I know we were talking about him earlier. He is one of the best offensive line prospects in this draft. Okay. He's got with dominant skills in the run game, the ability to make his way up into the second level quickly. He's got strong hands, strong lower half, gives him the chance to start right away, if not fairly early in the season. So I really, really like Christian Haynes. Really like Christian Haynes. Gauntlet. What do you mean, D'Angelo? What do you mean? Okay. Another one. In the words of DJ Khaled. Let's go with we'll just go all defensive line. I'll probably still be able to pull him up. So another guy that I really would like to take at 33, it just depends, right? I mean, these are all hypotheticals, guys. All these guys I'm mentioning are hypotheticals, but these are the guys that I like. These are the guys that I like at 33. Obviously, Braden Fisk. Then now I know I'm switching to the defensive side of the ball, but we have to look at defense as well. Okay. We had Braden Fisk out of Florida State. While a few knew Fisk prior to the I barely knew who this guy was prior to the combine, but he quickly made a name for himself by running that 40-yard dash for a big fella of 4.78. He's obviously shown flashes of being a solid pass rusher in his game film, and his best football is likely still ahead of him. So I like Braden Fisk out of Florida State. Last but certainly not least, at number 33, I know that some of you, even though I'm a big Chop Robinson fan, I do like Darius Robinson, okay? The edge rusher from Missouri, 6'5", 285. He may not be the household name yet, but I think he's got the potential to be a force in the NFL with a great combination of speed and size, strength. He's not a one-trick pony when it comes to his pass rush and can fight off double teams with ease. So those are my guys. Those are the guys that if we're talking about number 33, you could go with more, obviously. I'm just picking guys that I think are going to be there. I think you could definitely take Chop at 33 as well. Chris Jenkins, I also really like out of Michigan too. Let's see. At 33, you could get JJ McCarthy. You could get JJ McCarthy. Also at 33, you might be able to get Troy Franklin. You could get Lad Monkey. We can get Adonian Mitchell possibly. I don't know if these 7 here are going to fall. I don't know if Troy Franklin's going to fall, but honestly, I think his draft stock actually went down a little bit after that combine, so he might be available at 33. I really like Keon Coleman or Xavier Wardley at 33 if we go wide receiver. Those are my 2 guys at wide receiver. If we're going to go at 33 for tight end, which Brock Bowers isn't going to be there, but I can tell you right now, Jatavion Sanders out of Texas could be another prospect that we reach out to. Big time. This guy also checks off all the boxes in a tight end. He can block. He can shed. He can create separation. I really like him. He reminds me, kind of watching his game film, kind of reminds me of like Jimmy Graham. That's just my opinion, but that's a big tall task to. That's a big tall task to make. Oh, the name of the drill. Thank you. The Gauntlet. I knew it started with a G. I did say the G drill, so kind of counts for something. So, but again, Keon Coleman ran that 22 mile per hour in that. Agreed. Robinson was productive at his big upside. And big dude. Dude's got bigger traps than I've ever seen. He's bees in the trap for sure. I like Sanders too. Yeah. And then some other guys that maybe I didn't mention that we could get at 33. Graham Barton out of Duke might fall. Okay. He might fall. I don't see it. I think he's going first round. Probably late first, probably between the probably 20, 20 in the between 20, 25 range. I could see him going. But because he's moved up on a lot of draft boards. Jackson Powers Johnson, as much as I want him, he's going first round. He will be the first center off the board in the first round. As much as I want him, he won't be there. Jordan Morgan, you possibly could see him. Again, he's a left tackle. You could move Vicky to the inside if that's a strategic move you want as a Panthers fan. I don't know if some of you are still on that train or not. But Jordan Morgan would be a good left tackle. You possibly could get at 33. Kingsley Suamate, his tape, a lot of people are saying reminds them of Penei Sewell, who is with the Detroit Lions now. Of course, Zach Frazier. And of course, I feel like I'm missing someone else I could see us getting at 33. Patrick Paul, I could definitely see. Cooper Beebe, I'm also very high on, but you can probably wait to the later rounds to pick him up. He's a solid left guard. He's got great lower body strength. He gets to the nitty gritty, puts his knuckles into the dirt. Definitely a guy that you'll definitely want at the left guard. Yeah, D'Angelo, if I'm picking between Worthy and Keon Coleman at 33, for at least if we're going based off wide receiver position, it's Keon Coleman for me too. It's Keon Coleman for me too. I also like Cedric Van Pran, but he won't be there. You don't want to get him at his value is just not there for 33. I think you could get him in at least the third or fourth round. So offensive line, those are the guys I would say. Of course, Christian Haynes, solid right guard. I mean, I think he's the best right guard in this draft. Best right guard in this draft. Cooper Beebe's the best left guard in this draft. Really, there, like I said, in my top 5, when I did my top 5 offensive guards and centers, basically after those 5, it falls off. So if you haven't checked, I'll share that with you here shortly, actually. Let's see here. Some other guys that maybe you might see, obviously at the 33rd pick, of course, Peyton Wilson, Adrian Cooper, but Cooper I think is going to go towards the 3rd round. He did do himself some justice, so he might actually move up into the 2nd round, but I've seen a lot of mock drafts where he's going still in the 3rd. Let's see. Let's do defensive backs and let's go to the corners. Nate Wiggins is a 1st-round pick. Cooper DeJohn's 1st-round pick. Kenyon Mitchell's a 1st-round pick. Teron Arnold's a 1st-round pick. Now, I have seen where you could get a guy like Kool-Aid McKinstry at number 33. Okay, so we might be able to get if we really are feeling it, we really need to get that corner position filled up because of losing Dante Jackson. They feel that way. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I think, would be a solid pick. I know that they got now this is all the defensive back. This is all safeties and defensive back. So really that Lassiter is actually the number 8th pick. I mean, we could also get this guy, but he did not do himself any favors at the combine. I'm not going to lie to you. His draft stock went down. TJ Tampa is also a guy we could get out at 33. Feel like I've gone through all the guys. Now, if you want to, now I know some of you who aren't Bryce Young fans, you might be able to get JJ McCarthy at 33. So, or Bo Nix. I've seen Bo Nix available there. So, if y'all are Bo Nix fans and JJ McCarthy fans, there you go. Yeah, Nate Wiggins will not be there for sure. For sure. All right. This is really the last time I'm going to talk about this situation. It's about the Brian Burns situation. This is the last time I'm going to talk about this whole situation. Okay? Because I'm sick and tired of it. I'm so over it. I either want them to get a deal done or I want them to just get the compensation that we deserve for it. Okay? I am so done with this whole situation. I'm so tired of talking about it. I'm tired of seeing Panthers fans on Twitter just going back and forth about this whole situation. I'm completely done with it. Because it's ridiculous at this point. Basically, this is my thoughts. Okay. Because we're in the NFL offseason, which this is where teams normally frantically scramble to secure their star players before the new season starts, right? So we got this whole thing because we're in a bit of a bind with this whole ordeal. Okay, with Brian Burns. Okay. The Panthers slapped him with a non-exclusive franchise tag and offered him a whopping which offers him a whopping $24 million for the 2024 season. And even before they did that, they offered him a 5-year contract up to $27 million per year. But Brian Burns is, whether it's Brian Burns or his agent, they're stuck at the 30 range. Okay, 30 million per year range. And even though the tag, Burns, obviously, we all know, is free to negotiate with other teams, which could spell trouble for the Panthers if another club offers him a better deal. Now, again, I want to make this clear. There is not a chance in hell that any team in this league is going to offer Brian Burns a 5-year, $30 million contract and then compensate the Carolina Panthers 2 first-round picks. If you think that's going to happen, you might have rode the short bus to school, okay? And you might want to go back to school. Because there's not a chance in hell that's happening, okay? You can negotiate those picks, though. You can negotiate the compensation, okay? Okay? Now, I know that others believe that are asking for that. There are people out there that feel that, and I'm one of them, I think he's asking more than what he's worth. I thought the $27 million deal is as fair as could be. I don't think that the Panthers aren't committed. This new regime, this new coaching staff, I don't think that they're not committed compared to the Matt Rule era and the Frank Wright era and the Scott Fitterer era to signing their key players. I don't believe that. I believe Dan Morgan wants him here. I think that Dave Canales wants Brian Burns here. Okay? I want him here still. So don't get me wrong. But when we're comparing this guy to Max Crosby, the Myles Garretts, the Nick Bosas of the world, he's not even close, guys. And people are saying, well, teams didn't pass as much against us. Well, no shit. They were up by 14 points every fucking game. And I've shown you the win rate. He finished number 11 last year in the win rate. He finished number 37 ranked edge pass rusher by PFF last year. But he was injured. But people are giving him excuses saying he was injured last year. He was not trying to injure himself. Okay. That's fine. We can make that case. You can make that case. You can make that case if you want to. Whatever your heart desires at the end of the day, you can make that case. All right. If you feel that that's what you need to do, make that case. But I can tell you right now, if you enter the possibility of a trade, now this is from Josina Anderson from CBS Sports. Now, some league sources believe that Burns could be worth a third-round pick in a trade if they acquire a team is willing to give him a long-term deal. I'm not taking a third-round pick for this man. I still believe I at least think he's at least a first, at least one first. I do believe he's still at least worth 2 seconds. However, others believe that they're asking for more than what they would be. That would be too much. Some people believe that. I know. I can't say for certain whether Burns is. I maybe me personally, I can't say he's worth a third round pick or not. But I can tell you that he's not. I can also tell you he's not an elite pass rusher. Is he a superstar? Is he a good pass rusher? Sure. I do believe he's also, I have to give him credit where credit's due. I do believe he's one of the hearts and souls of this Carolina defense. All right. Stop bringing up my JJ. My bad, man. I agree about Burns. It has to be addressed. It's the elephant in the room. So I'm going to give the Panthers a second and fifth for Burns already and be done already. I'd even take that. Yeah, 2 firsts is gone. That was gone last year. Yeah, anybody who thinks that, just go ahead and put your stupid shirt on. I said that too. Burns tagged and probably won't play this year. For just a third, that's undervaluing him and valuing him as a linebacker, not a defensive end. See, that's the thing. So I want to make this clear. When he got tagged, since he played linebacker, he got tagged as a linebacker. If he would have played defensive end last year, he would have got tagged as a defensive end. Just for some of you that don't know. So thank you for saying that. Keep pounding. Okay. Okay, they say PFF is BS when it comes to Burns, but valid in other player arguments. JP, I know. Well, how about that win rate I showed you? How about that win rate I showed you? And I'll show it to you. Okay. But let's not forget, he has been very durable throughout his years here with the organization. He's definitely been very valuable. I still believe that. He only missed 3 games in that time that he's been here in 5 years. Okay. So trading Burns away for a lone day 2 pick is not the best move for the Panthers. Okay. Because after all, if they want to be taken seriously by the rest of the league, they need to keep guys like Burns on this roster. I do believe that. I think that from an organizational standpoint, for us to be taken seriously, we need to be able to try to keep our guys and value them at the highest level that we possibly can without breaking the bank, though. Let me make that clear. Without breaking the bank. Okay? Because we tagged him and we went from how much money in the cap, which was we went up to like 30 something, maybe, or it was like maybe 40 something. And we dropped to 13 after we tagged him. That's why I'm saying, yes, still be committed to your key players, but without breaking the bank, without screwing yourself over, without being able to fill other voids by signing free agents and bringing in draft picks. You can't break the bank, though. At the end of the day, for me, I think the Panthers need to negotiate either a long-term deal with Burns that fits his wants and needs and just keep him in Carolina. Or if that cannot happen whatsoever, that's long gone. If they can't agree, then I guess they'll just have to settle for whatever compensation. And let's hope it doesn't come to that, because I know I'm not taking a 3rd round pick. Okay. Jalen Herbin says, I would take a second and a wide receiver 1, not necessarily true wide receiver 1, but someone who could make it within our system. I think I saw someone say they would send Burns to Cincinnati for T. Higgins, and if the Cincinnati would give us a 3rd round pick. I mean, T. Higgins, a 3rd round pick for Brian Burns. I don't know if that's doable. I don't know if that's realistic. I don't know if that's realistic. I agree. Stop turning out talent. And that's the biggest issue. But Scott Fitter is the main reason we're in this situation that we're in now. With the contract negotiations, the re-signing of certain players, restructuring certain players, guys that are not on this team that we've let walk and that we're still paying them. That's the reason why we can't afford guys like Burns, and that's what happens. Tap and Scott haven't developed any rookies in the last 5 years. No, that's for damn sure. But they're not but again, Jalen, they're not the guys that develop rookies. It's the coaching staff that develops them, not our owner, not our GM. We aren't developing talent because we aren't replacing that talent. Well, we also can't keep a coaching staff on here than more than 2 years. Either. I mean, you think about that. We haven't been able to keep a coaching staff on this team more than 2 years since David Tepper's taken over. Matt Rule is the only one that has lasted the longest so far, if I'm not mistaken. JP, will fact check that. I want to know where you found that at. But JP, you could be right. You're a reliable source. I trust you, my brother. I trust you. But I like to see facts. I like to see things with my own eyes, I'm watching the guys that are being tagged right now. We have a few trade options. Yeah, Michael Pittman got tagged. T. Higgins got tagged. I don't know who else got tagged. I don't know who else got tagged. Jalen, I know. That's what I'm getting at. That's my whole point. Like, how's any coach going to be able to develop any talent when he can barely last here? Can barely last. These guys don't last for a very long time because we have we've had an impatient owner. And it is what it is. But I want to show you this about Brian Burns. Okay. I just want to show you one more time something about Brian Burns. And then I'm going to let this subject go. NFL Next Gen Stacks Clay. That's why I want to know the guy's sources on YouTube channel about. I need JP, can you send me the link to that, please? Can you do me a favor and send me that? I want to see that shit. So what players have the Panthers drafted rounds 3 and 7 past 10 years and have been reliable starters? I hear you. Again, that's true too, Marcos. Like, the talent we're drafting is not adequate talent that we bring in here. It's not adequate talent. It's shitty talent. They don't bring any draft capital. They don't bring the adequate free agents in. I've been saying that. Yep. Yeah, JP, please send me the link to that. All right, so here is the PFF ranking. So you've got 1 through 13 on the left side, and then there's their grading. You got 27 through 39, and then there's their grading. Brian Burns at number 37. Okay. Look at the top 5, actually, pass rushers. Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, Max Crosby, TJ Watt. Here's the reason why, and I'm going to show you why the reason. I've been seeing ish about Nicole Tepper interview. Okay, have you seen it? If so, what do you think? I don't give a fuck. That's what I think, Jalen, because I watched it and I don't give a fuck that you are making all these sales and you brought Beyonce, you brought Messi, you brought all this stuff. Who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If you would bring more money there and you'd be able to bring more concerts there, especially if your team is freaking good, right? You would think. Am I wrong about that? Kansas City's able to bring Taylor Swift. What if the Carolina Panthers, Carolina Panthers could get somebody, but they brought Beyonce. Okay. Great. Nothing against Beyonce. That has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with her. It's the fact of the matter that I'd rather watch my team win football games than go to a Beyonce concert. That's just me. Who cares? Guys, make sure you pound that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. We're on that 10K. We're grinding, man. Grinding every single day here on the Ropp Star Report, bringing you live updates and coverage on NFL, but also talk about some Carolina Panthers football as always. All right, as always. So this is the PFF. This is what I want to show you next. This proves to the reason why this man is not worth $30 million per year. Look at the win rates. Okay. So look at this. Micah Parsons. This proves why Micah Parsons deserves to be a $30 million contract. Probably more. He's probably going to reset the market. Because watch this. 84 wins, 238 plays. Winning percentage. Okay. Winning percentage, 35%. Look how many times he was double teamed. 35%. Myles Garrett, 82 wins, 269 plays. Winning percentage, 30%. Double team, 29 times. Will Anderson, the rookie at Alabama, Houston, 57 wins, 221 snaps, 26% win percentage rate, 23% double teamed. TJ Watt, 75 wins, 296 plays, 25% win rate, 14% double team. So then we go down to Mr. Brian Burns, 40 wins, 189 plays, 21% win rate, 14% double teamed. Now, what's the difference here? The difference is, they got more plays, right? They had more plays. Okay. They had more plays than he did, which means guess what that other team was doing? They were passing the ball. Fair. You can make that case. But if you go look at the PFF record, go look at his run defense. Go look at Brian Burns' run defensive grading. Don't forget about that. See, people think about, the thing is with the Brian Burns situation, everybody thinks about the sacks, the flashy plays. They don't think about the other things that also count in today's game. They don't. So again, the only case I'm making to the Brian Burns situation, he's just not worth $30 million in my mind. That's just it. Do I want him here in Carolina? Sure. But do I think he's worth $30 million? No. Sent you a leak. Oh, perfect. Perfect. JP coming in the clutch. Nice. Let's look at this. Nice. All right. So where we got? So what is this? Average cushion. Wait, where's the average cushion at? Catch percentage, yards after reception, expected yards after the catch, okay, cushion. Average cushion. Average separation. Hello. Love it. Love it. Okay, hold on. So this is interesting. So next gen stats receivers. This is the average separation. Okay. Devontae Parker was number 1, tied with Michael Thomas. So y'all can go ahead, and any of you guys on Twitter or anybody on YouTube that thinks we should go after Michael Thomas, you're out your damn mind. Alex Pierce, Amari Cooper, which is crazy because he still had a good year. So what exactly, even though the separation, average separation 2.2. What is this? Average target air yards. Okay. DJ Chark, cushion, average cushion, 5.7, 2.3. T. Higgins also is right there, 2.3, 5.9. Someplace I found Bryce's aggressive percentage that fans think I lied about. Ooh. Where's Jonathan Mingo on this then? Because they said he had the number 2 worst separation. So what I want to know is where are they getting that facts from? Because Thielen's got a 2.9, but he had over 1,000 yards last year. Well, we can go to it. Let's see, passing. So let's see if we can find Mr. Darius. So Bryce Young. Let's see. Let's put Bryce at the top. Let's go with. Is Bryce? Because we want to find completed yards. Okay. Who he had to be one of the, okay, here we go. So what does this mean? Time to throw. wait, time to throw? Damn. Time to throw was 2.9 seconds. So he had a top. Justin Fields had 3.2. Okay. Average completed air yards. Average attended air yards. Average yards. Differential aggressiveness. Bryce Young, 11.6. So what does that actually mean? I'm kind of curious. So aggressiveness right here. Here's Bryce. 61 completion, 2.9. We're sure about that. Look like 2.4. It doesn't pass the eye test for me. I don't know. JP, I like this. I'm going to save this in my favorites, though. So don't forget this. I don't forget this. This is pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting. So what's this mean? Longest completed air distance. So the longest completed air distance was a 48-yard pass. Passing attempts, 528. Okay. 11 touchdowns. Okay. Go to the glossary. What the fuck's the glossary? All right, let's see your glossary here. Let's see what this glossary means. Okay, so well, where's the aggressiveness? Okay, aggressiveness attracts the amount of passing attempts a quarterback makes that are into tight coverage, where there is a defender within 1 yard or less. The receiver at the time of completion or incompletion is shown at the percentage attempt in the tight windows of all pass attempts. So if we go back and go look at Bryce Young's aggressiveness, it'll tell us how many times he threw into tight coverage, basically. He basically 11% of his passes he threw in tight coverage. Okay. But let's see. But damn, look at Patrick Mahomes. Threw it at 9 points through. Well, that's the least amount. 2.7, 9.7, 11.6. Who threw the most in tight coverage? Kenny Pickett. 20.1, 20%. Yeah. Go to the grocery. Good site. Yeah, if you guys want to hear, I'll put it in the chat real quick. These are the next. This is pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting stuff there. Is everybody watching on freaking Twitter? If you're watching on Twitter, come on over to the YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure you come in and pound that like button. There's 18 people watching on YouTube or Twitter. 18 people are watching on Twitter. I see all 18 of you because I can see from the StreamYard link. 18 of you are watching on Twitter. 15 of you are watching on the Roppstar or on YouTube. So why don't you come on over to the YouTube channel? Come on over and show your support. That's the best thing you can do. I only post this up on Twitter just because to get more of the YouTube, the channel exposure. So I greatly appreciate you. Just come on over here. Come on over here. Now compare the percentage to other quarterbacks. I know. I think if Bryce was a good offensive line, see, Jalen's over here. So if you're watching on Twitter, come on over. JP's over here watching. Vietnam's over here watching. See all these people in the chat with the red Marcos Cash. See all that Twitter? They're all watching from YouTube. So come on over. I think if Bryce has a good offensive line, I could see him actually hitting the passes in 2.6. He just has to get the ball out quicker. I mean, that's part of what he needs to work on. Part of what he needs to work on. All right, let's get into this article. This is something I wanted to talk about by Joe Parson. He comes out with this article, free agency buzz. Is Bradley Bozeman out? J.J. Jensen's future? Brian Burns talk, all of that. So we already talked about the Brian Burns thing. Now, according to reports, the Panthers, of course, on this is saying that at least one guard this offseason to help protect Bryce Young. They planning on adding that. Luke Kuechly, former Carolina Panthers, understands the importance of solid offensive line play. He spoke about the difficulties facing the New Orleans Saints guards like Carl Nix and Jair Evans during his career. The Panthers are also looking to bring in a center to compete with or replace Bradley Bozeman. Now, we know last year, Bradley Bozeman started 28 consecutive, or in his time here, he started 28 consecutive games for the team. Bozeman due 1.5 million in a bonus. So if he's still on the roster by March 16th. So it'll be interesting to see if the Panthers decide to keep him here or let him go. Randy Mueller of The Athletic believes that the center might be the deepest free agent class of any offensive position with as many as 10 starting caliber players available. And of course, that draft analyst there at The Athletic said his name's Dane Brugler, called it an awesome year to draft a center, which at least 5 players he expects to become NFL starters, like Zach Frazier, Jackson Powers Johnson, Cedric Van Pran. So those guys. So we definitely have our options to choose from if we decide to replace Bradley Bozeman, have someone back him up, or start over him and he becomes the backup, whatever the case may be. Obviously, that's not all the Panthers. J.J. Sanson has played on a 1-year deal each of the past 3 seasons, and it's surprising that I felt that the Panthers' all-time leader in games played was still without a contract, just days away from free agency. But guess what? He signed his deal today. He actually signed. Just saw it. They have agreed terms with JJ Jansen, another 1-year deal again. It's not going to be a long-term deal. It's just going to be another 1-year deal. So he'll be back. JJ Jansen. So, as for the safety position, also in this article, they talk about Justin Simmons, the former Denver Broncos ball hawk, obviously being recently released yesterday, tied for the league lead with 6 interceptions in the 2021 or 2022, under our current defensive coordinator, Jair Evero. However, the Panthers already have Xavier Woods and Von Bell, so it's not a priority of the position. So, I also wanted to bring that up and talk about that today as well. Jeez, Marcos. Telling everybody. Tell everybody how you really feel about Twitter. But we got 36 people watching between Twitter and YouTube, which is great. But I would appreciate everyone that's on Twitter. It would do me so much justice, and I would greatly appreciate it if you come on over to the YouTube channel. That's the best way you can support me. Is coming over here, subscribing, and pounding the like button. Because I'm on the road over here to 10K, and I would love to try to do this full time so I can do more things with you guys. Taylor Moton was the problem last year. He's making $28 million. Brant, where are you at? Yeah, I think they've got. I mean, they're obviously with Brant. Brant's going to be trying to renegotiate that contract, restructure it some way, somehow. I just don't know. But Taylor Moton was the bright spot of our offensive line last year. Marcus has it right. He's been the most consistent guy. I mean, he's been the most consistent offensive lineman we've had. So Bozeman had a handful of pressures, but Taylor and Icky had a lot more. I know people won't agree, but that's what I saw. And that's true. Rest of the offensive line was bad. Absolutely. But the rest of the offensive line can be fixed for sure. I think if here's the thing, I think that we need to get a left guard to either back up Brady Christensen or start above him and make Christensen the backup. You need to get another center, whether he's going to start in front of Bozeman or behind him. And I think you need to get a starting right guard. I think Corbett's career is done. He tore his ACL, and then he comes back, plays 4 or 5 games, 6 games, whatever it was, tears his MCL on the same knee. I just don't see that being, I just don't, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I think we need to replace the center in the right guard position. I think Christensen can still be a starter here with us because he's only allowed 1 sack in all the starts he started. I think it's 1. It might be 0, but he only tore his bicep, and a bicep tear compared to an ACL and an MCL tear is nothing. So this is true. Keep Howden says it's Taylor Moton. I don't know. Jansen won't retire until he's on life support. I know. He's going to play till he's going to pull the Tom Brady as a long snapper, right? He was spun around like a revolving door. Yeah, Taylor Moton was the highest graded offensive line last year. Lineman for us. Yeah, he was. Taylor Moton was the highest graded offensive lineman last year. I agree on Corbett. Yeah, keep pounding. Yeah, I mean, it's a need for sure. Corbett's 50-50. We don't know if that knee's going to hold up. I wouldn't try. Wouldn't take a chance. I'm not taking a chance on a guy who tore his ACL, had surgery, and then doesn't come back fully 100% ready to go. Has no problem with his knee, no pain, no nothing. Basically rebuilt his knee, re-strengthened his knee, comes back and week, whatever it was, didn't come back till the Bears game. Or no, didn't come back till after the trade deadline, right? So that bye week, and then tears it 3 or 4 games later, and it's the MC on the same knee. I can't rely on that. I just can't. I'm just hoping that with Dave coming in, they push away from emotional decisions, look at player assets. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, I feel you. In other news though, let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about these two things here real quick. Let me find this thing real quick. Let's talk about the biggest needs for this team in free agency. Let's talk about the biggest needs we need in free agency. We're going to get on the free agency train here. Just a second. I got to pull up PFF and get the free agency list. Let's talk about the biggest free agency needs for the Carolina Panthers, and then we're going to talk about the ISM situation. I want to clear the air on that and give you my thoughts on it. Because I know that is crucial. I think it is crucial. Because I do like ISM and what we saw when they started using him correctly. Was very key for me last year. So let me pull up PFF. I'm sorry, it's taking me a hot minute here because PFF is taking forever. Not the draft board, free agency board. There we go. All right. Top 10, top 200 free agents. Now, here's the thing. What does Carolina need to upgrade is the question. Where do they need to upgrade? What do they need to target? What positions? Y'all let me know in the comments real quick while I fix this. Because they need to, I think the 4 biggest positions that we need, on this team is edge rusher. Actually, I'm going to go with all the biggest needs. Obviously, wide receiver, offensive line. I would say edge rusher, corner, tight end. Really the list goes on, man. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible how Carolina needs so many different things. With the wide receiver position, okay? It's no secret as a Panthers fan, we need to build this wide receiver group. We have a 33-year-old Adam Thielen, who's our wide receiver 1. Now he's entering this season at 34, and he may not be the primary option moving forward. So you got to address that. And the Panthers may opt to double dip in free agency and the draft, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. If you're talking about tight ends, we're starting to lose guys. Hunter Henry's all gone, re-signed with the Patriots. Dalton Schultz re-signed. Let's see who else was a free agent. If we're talking about guards too, though, but I would say also the tight end position. Ever since Greg Olsen left, the Panthers have struggled to find a reliable option at tight end. Hayden Hurst was supposed to fill that void. He didn't. He never lived up to his potential. That's why he's gone. So I think a reliable tight end would help the Panthers passing game immensely. Look at the top. Look at all the playoff teams that made it last year. Houston, Dalton Schultz. Cleveland, David Njoku. Okay. Kansas City, Kelsey. Ravens, Mark Andrews. Pittsburgh, who made it to the playoffs. Pat Freiermuth, right? Lions, Sam Laporta. Eagles, Dallas Goedert. Dallas, Jake Ferguson. San Francisco, George Kittle. Who else am I missing? Rams. They have what's his name? Tyler Higbee, right? But all those teams have solid tight ends and made the playoffs. That's you could even make an argument that the tight end position could be more key on getting a tight end and then getting just one wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, that's true too. The highest need on the list will always be offensive line. However, next in line is linebacker. Interesting. Guard, left or right. Yeah. Top 200. Damn, big ass list. Yeah, but some of these guys aren't free agents anymore that are on this list. You know, tight end, I think we could sit on for a year before improving. Same with running back. Hurst is gone. Good move. Yeah, it was a good move by us. Center, linebacker, corner, guard. Yeah, I mean, again, if you move on from the tight end position, the guard position is also an area of concern, guys. I mean, you got Austin Corbett again. Still going to likely be the starter at right guard. But how much can you rely on him after tearing his ACL the year before last year? And then tearing his MCL in the same knee this past year, right? Obviously, left guard position needs attention because the Panthers may consider shifting Bradley Bozeman because of not Bradley Bozeman, but because the left guard because of Chris. Why am I having such a mind blank? Brady Christensen. Because of Brady Christensen, it's a torn bicep. It's not as bad, but is Christensen a true starting left guard in the NFL? I mean, do y'all believe that? I think he's shown that he can be a starter in the NFL. But again, we only got to see that was the year before that. But this year he gets knocked out at the beginning of the year. We don't know what we really got out of him. Either way, they need to fix this spot and make it their top priority is the offensive line for sure. So we're all in agreement of that. Okay. Another area of concern too, though, again, is the edge rushing position because we don't know what's going to happen with Brian Burns. There's a question about that future there. Okay. So you got to add a quality edge rusher to line up opposite of him or replace him because you still need it. And they may not be able to find a hidden gem like Hassan Reddick. They'll need to add more depth to that defensive line to go alongside Derek Brown. And of course, re-signing Frankie Luvu still has to be, talked about. And then, of course, the cornerback position has to be another spot. Again, you got injuries with J.C. Horn. You released Dante Jackson. So they're going to have to add in a veteran to pair with Horn. And, of course, you got C.J. Henderson, Troy Hill, and Shaquille Griffin out there that you don't even know what their futures, if they're going to be back on this roster. So they're always going to have to add to this position because you got Jackson who's set to play elsewhere. They have no choice to make this a priority now. So we've got a lot to do. So that's why that's why I argue with some people that the free agency is just important as the draft. You have to be able to fill these voids. If you're letting guys walk or you're releasing guys, you have to be able to fill it. And with how many draft picks we only have, I think we only have 6 draft picks. With only having 5 or 6 draft picks, you can only fill those voids so much. You got to add depth. You have to have depth. You need to add at least, it's almost like in each and one of these positions, you have to add at least 2 dudes. 2 dudes at each position. We have a bigger needs than tight end. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We won't have a guy like that this year. No, we probably won't. We can draft our wide receivers, offensive linemen. We can use free agency for linebackers and corners. Possibly. I mean, it depends. That's not necessarily the route they'll go. Tommy Tremble, Ricci can do tight end. I don't know if I can rely on that, but we shall see. Tight end wouldn't be such a need if quarterbacks don't throw them into IR. True. JP coming in hot with that one. All right. Let's talk about ISM real quick. So let me share this real quick. This is what I wanted to show. So reports are saying that I know that a lot of people fell in love with this kid last year. After we finally started using him correctly, saw what he could do in the punt return, was it punt return or kick return? Well, I mean, I think he played both, but was his touchdown against the Bears, was that a punt return or kick return? I can't remember. But we saw the potential in this kid because of the speed, and all that, right? And I know that some of you out there are all about this kid, and I get it. Okay, he's a young receiver. Now, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, the Panthers are expected to tender their restricted free agent. However, they're open to re-signing him. Okay, so we got this guy last year, which is kind of funny, from the Kansas City Chiefs. Guess who our financial guru is? Brant Tillis. Where did he come from? The Kansas City Chiefs. So, although it took him some time to get integrated to our offense, he eventually found himself in a place where he finally found his place as the team's punt returner. And he also handled some offensive responsibilities with jet sweeps, some screens, some handoffs. But the numbers really speak for themselves. Okay. Smith-Marset returned 37 punts for an impressive 322 yards, 1 touchdown. He also caught 8 catches, 51 yards, scored 1 touchdown on the ground, and accumulated a total of 74 yards. It remains to be seen what the future holds with this kid. But I think one thing's for sure. I think we'll be eager to see and wait and see if he decides to do that. They decide to keep him here. I'd like to take a chance on him again. I'd like to see what he got. I'd like to see what maybe Dave Canals can do as a quarterback guru / wide receiver guru. I'd really like to see what he can do with an ISM and and either develop him or create him into a great wide receiver talent, hopefully. All right. Build the ball for Bryce at all costs. I feel that. Fix the defense next year. We ain't competing yet. Focus on the offense this year. Ian Thomas needs to be cut too. Absolutely. The guy should have been cut a long time ago. Bears are re-signing Patrick Scales. What's this? Vikings agreeing to terms with tight end Johnny Mudent. Patriots appear open to trading Mac Jones, and teams have called them and doing work on the former starter. Raiders release a veteran Brian Hoyer. 49ers right tackle Colton McKivitz has agreed to a 1-year deal. All right, nothing else so far. All right, cool. I just wanted to check, see if there's any other news going on. I don't know what his restrictive numbers were. I have the number 1 overall next year. I'm having the number 1 overall next year is going to be great. We can trade down and get a Bears type compensation package. God damn it, AJ. Oh man, AJ, you always come in my live stream out of nowhere. It's like an RKO out of nowhere, and you just hit me with it. You just hit me with it. Y'all got to stop. I like ISM. Different Patrick is and slot. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. If you're watching over on Twitter, come on over to the YouTube channel. Come and show your support. That way, after we hop off of here, just come over, pound the like button, subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. I'm going to hop off of here. Happy Friday. Gonna get some shorts out to you this evening, so I will be crushing out some TikTok. So go follow me on TikTok. Guys, join the Discord today. The link is in my link is in the link tree in this live stream. It's also in my bio on Twitter. So if you follow me there, join the Discord today. You can always message me on there, and we can always talk Panthers talk or NFL talk in that chat. We're always in there posting stuff. So go check it out. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream again. Thank you for all y'all support. And as always, guys, y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.